Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to our Prestige PEO webinar series. My name is Shannon Shaw. I am Operations Analyst at Prestige PEO and your host this morning. We are excited to announce our new partnership with ScoutLogic, an advanced background check solution. In today's webinar, ScoutLogic's Director of Sales, Chip Ramsey, will discuss how ScoutLogic will solve your background check struggles. Chip, thanks for being here. How are you this morning?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me.
As always, all webinar viewers are muted, but we encourage you to utilize the chat feature for any questions you may have, and we will address them at the end of the webinar if we have time. Of course, if your question is not answered, we will also give out contact information at the end so we can answer your questions after the webinar. Additionally, this webinar is being recorded and will be posted on prestigepeo.com/webinars page so that you can refer to it at any time. So without further ado, I'll hand the mic over to Chip Ramsey. Welcome, Chip.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well this week and everything's going great in your personal and professional lives. But first, I want to say, what an honor and a privilege. I mean, it is to talk with all of you today about our partnership with Prestige PEO and my company, ScoutLogic. And secondly, I'd like to thank Lauren, Eric, and Shannon, and Carrie, and everybody in the marketing department with putting this partnership together. We've had a lot of back and forth here the last few weeks, and it's been wonderful working with everybody. But the good thing is I've already connected with a lot of Prestige PO's clients, had conversations, got some clients already on board with ScoutLogic, which is fantastic. But I'm looking forward to meeting the rest of you guys. So yeah, and this is what we're going to be talking about today with ScoutLogic. I'm just going to go over this real briefly, who we are, some bullet points about ScoutLogic, and how it's going to, play into your daily lives as well. So we're going to talk about this more specifically as we go through this. So Shannon, if you want to go next. ScoutLogic's been around for about 5 years now, and I was fortunate enough to be the third employee through the door. We're now over 200 strong, which is pretty big for a background check company. And it's like partnerships like this that we're continuing to grow. And we've actually doubled in size twice this year and are looking to do so again by the end of the second quarter in 2023. As it says here, we are a full service background check company and cover everything from background checks to verifications to drug screens and occupational health tests and everything in between. We value every one of our clients, especially, even if you have 10 employees up to 10,000 employees. We're always looking to develop those relationships and partnerships as well. One of the big reasons, though, we did partner with Prestige PEO is our cultures align so well, and we both provide that white glove touch to our clients. And I have to thank Lauren for this quote that, think of ScoutLogic as the Prestige PEO of background check services. And as we're listening to people talk about their experiences, we're finding that small to medium-sized businesses are spending a lot of time following up on things related to background checks. And we believe, hey, you're paying for a background check company for a reason, and you should be spending time on other things like growing your business. So you can see by the quotes here that, people, they need something quick. They don't want to waste a lot of time, and they need to know exactly what they're getting. Yeah, and our service model is set up a little bit differently, and we become a part of your business. A lot of background check companies really don't care about that. But think of us as part of your team and helping you find the best talent you can to help grow your business. So when someone puts their eyes on every report, that much quicker, the check gets processed faster and turnaround times go down. So if a check has issues, we're actually coming to you. You don't have to worry about reaching out to us. We're coming to you. We're very focused on making sure the check is done correctly. And not only are we proactive in reaching out, but you can trust ScoutLogic will send you the most complete report. We're going to keep you compliant and on the right side of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And chasing down a background check, this is the last thing you guys want to do, right? So what happens if you're not wasting time? It means your team stops spending more time chasing down that background check and spending more time getting things done. It means you won't have to reach out to any candidates. We do that for you. It also means that if something compliance related is going on, we'll tell you immediately. But basically, this whole slide right here, all of this means you and your team can get out of the background check business and do your jobs. And what is the heart of our model? It's the Scout, hence our name, ScoutLogic, right? So no matter how big or small your business is, you're assigned one Scout who gets to know you and your business, of course. In fact, you're never thrown into a customer service black hole. We don't even have a customer service department. Your Scout is listed on every report, and you're able to reach out to them directly if you have any questions. So your Scout basically manages everything. They're not an account manager, but someone who is PBSA certified, and they're going to be responsible for all of your checks. So how do they spend their day? They're continuously checking on your queue of background checks. They're always checking on that. And they spend more time on the difficult checks that come through and are spot checking for quality issues, making sure everything is correct. So if you have any issues, everything starts with the Scout. And this is what our Scout model looks like. This is what we're known for. This is very, very unique to the industry right now. And behind your Scout are more resources and teams helping with every background check. Your Scout does most of the work and keeps things organized. It's a good way to look at it. But there are a lot of things that can go into a background check, and that screen kind of shows you this. A check might need extra research, especially in court runner-based counties. Believe it or not, some states still have counties that have nothing online, and we have to actually send someone into a courthouse to verify information and pull records. I know this is the 1980s, right? Seems like on that one. But we have many teams working behind the scenes as well, what we call pods. And they're overseen by a pod leader, one of our VP of operations. They make sure you're kept compliant, and they help with anything from setting up new packages to, training you and your team on how to place orders. Also, if you need any drug screen or occupational health tests, we have teams that monitor that, and they'll reach out to you and the candidate again should anyone need help. The great news, like I said, this can be confusing, that little, what can go behind a background check. But you don't have to worry about anything because everything runs through that Scout again. And this is one of my favorite slides in this whole deck. I'm very proud of this because, like I said, I was the third one in the company. We've signed up a lot of customers, and we're all very proud of that. And through all these years, we haven't lost a single client, which speaks volumes. And I can personally attest to the growth and the great clients we're bringing online. I mean, they're just fantastic. We have a net promoter score that's best in our industry. In fact, we're on par with Apple in that sense. And it took such a long time to get PBSA certified, and that's so the Professional Background Screeners Association. They just don't bring anybody online, give you a simple certificate. A lot of work goes into it. Took us years to get that. Just to put it in perspective, 880 background check companies have that accreditation. And there's over 10 11,000 background check companies out there right now. But being around for so long, I can attest to culture. I've never worked for a company that has better culture than we do. We have no turnover. There's our engagement surveys constantly show everyone wants to be here, and they will always recommend that people to come to work for ScoutLogic as well. And our co-founders, David Garcia and Bill James, guess what? It's all their own money. We don't have any outside investors. We don't have any holding companies, private equity firms. We're not taking any money from any of them. So basically, we can focus on client satisfaction without that burden of having to reduce costs to feed the debt that almost all of our competitors have. Yeah, and these are our best in class turnaround times. In our industry, everybody's tracked, kind of so to speak. But we're especially proud of, well, not only all this, but our verification time. So just to point out a couple of things on this slide. The employment verification with us takes 1.88 days for turnaround time. education verification is 1.95 days. The industry average is 3 to 5 business days. So that kind of puts it in perspective too. The unable to verify rate, this is what we're really most proud of on this. Ours is 2.6%. So that means ScoutLogic, we're sending you a result 97.6% of the time. We're not sending back those messages that say unable to verify. Our competition, they don't even come close to us. The average is 25% unable to verify rate out there. And as you can see through all these, the county criminal, federal, county civil, federal civil, are excellent turnaround times as well. Another one I'm really proud of on this deck is there's some great verticals we're working with. Probably 50% of our client base are staffing companies. That's where I'm most comfortable with. I come from a staffing and recruiting background on the light industrial side of things. So bringing on a lot of business when we first got going, started that. But we have some awesome clients here, as you can see. SeaWorld's there, Cheryl's. We just brought on Waffle House this year. Duracell's another one, but lots and lots of different clients there, and from, a handful of employees all the way up to thousands, was what we're looking for. We just want everybody to run lots of background checks. That's all it is, right? So next, please. And this gets into specifics. This is one of our largest clients to date. We brought on Insight Global. They are a massive staffing company, and they brought over their entire medical staffing division to us and continue to bring division after division over to ScoutLogic. The big thing is we reduced their occupational health and drug screen turnaround times by 5 days and their background checks by 3 days. So if you can get an employee to work that much quicker, look at your bottom line, what that does to you. As with all our clients, we continue to, we're always educating proactively. We're reaching out to them constantly, and we continue to provide best in class service levels and turnaround times. And I think that's it. That's my overview of ScoutLogic. It's real short and sweet kind of thing. But I wanted to thank everyone for your time today, of course. But I think before we wrap up, Shannon, do you have any questions from anybody?
I do not see any questions in the chat. If anybody's got something quick that they want to type in, I'm a fast reader. We do have a question from a person about cost. Can you address that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've got in place right now, we have 4 different packages that we have for PrestigePEO. After a lot of discussion, what might look basic for PrestigePEO clients. So I'm more than happy to send those out to anybody. It ranges from $20 to $40 in there. But we had one customer, our very first partnership with a PrestigePEO client. We actually developed a package that almost a couple $100, but they wanted a social media check and civil checks and credit checks and driving checks and verifications and everything. So in a nutshell, basically, we have, something that's very inexpensive and can create anything else for you guys. So yeah, great question.
Great. There are a couple of questions about how a client would get set up. What is the process for getting set up? And, if a client is interested.
Yeah, real easy to do that. Actually, just connect me. We're going to show contact information here in a little bit. But what I'll do, we'll narrow down the packages for you, of course, send out an end user agreement. And all we need is who's going to be using the system. We need names and emails, who's going to be the administrator on your account. And then, of course, invoice and billing contacts. We just need names and emails for that. Send out an agreement, and I get that information back with a signed end user agreement, and we set everything up very, very quickly in the system. And then we don't just leave you hanging. That's the one thing. We reach out, and then I will personally reach out and schedule a training session for whatever client comes on board with us. Another good question.
Helpful. Does the Scout help determine the best package? Is it based on the number of users per account?
No, actually, that's me. I will be determining that. Yeah, because some clients, you might do 5 background checks a year. Others might do 5,000 a year. So there's some different things that we can work with in there as well. Because if you're doing that many, and we can create packages, for Well, the four that we have are it's a comprehensive, an all county, a professional, and a driving and sales package. And we can adjust those, however you would like. But yeah, all the package pricing information would go through me.
Fabulous. Um, how is the fee paid?
So we bill monthly. So let's say in October you run all of these different checks, right? We typically send out that invoice the first of the month to that billing contact that I mentioned.
Great. Does ScoutLogic offer services aside from the staffing and employee background checks? We have a client who often uses private investigators to run checks and gather background information on certain people. Is that something ScoutLogic offers?
Yeah, it just depends again what you need. The one thing we don't do yet is like fingerprinting, BCI checks, that sort of thing. But I have a couple recommendations I can give you for that. But yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much anything that's out there can come through. You have something really detailed like a social media check that gleans all sorts of information and formulates that into a nice little presentation, upload a document into the final report itself. That's the other thing, all if you guys, try before you buy, kind of want to run through a demo with us as well, we can show that. So it kind of makes everything fall into place.
Mhm, mhm. I do just want to progress to the next screen in case any of the listeners or people viewing want to be able to access you in the future. Chip is emailable and callable. We have a couple more questions. How is Scout Logic going to be integrated with Prestige? Is there a benefit to using Scout? Is it fully integrated or with
Yeah, we
Prestige?
are not right now. So we just set up the partnership where um, all the Prestige PEO clients will come directly to me and ScoutLogic.
Okay. Okay, great. I believe that's all our questions. I'm not seeing
Excellent.
any others. Um, so that looks good. Thank you so much to Chip for this valuable presentation, and thank you to everyone for joining us. You can view this webinar recording on our website by visiting prestigepeo.com/webinars. We will post Chip's contact information on the webinar landing page if you have further questions, and you can also reach out to your HR business partner for additional guidance. As always, we appreciate your feedback, so please feel free to share your opinions on today's presentation so that we can continue to develop webinars with the information that you and your employees need the most. Chip, just one last thing. I have a person asking when this goes into effect. When does our relationship begin here?
It has been for about a week now, actually. As I mentioned, yeah, I've already talked to probably 10, 11 of you already. And
All
it's
right
been
now.
wonderful so far. So yeah, reach out whenever you can.
Be sure you check your inbox for our monthly Insights newsletter, which will give you the latest HR news information you need. You can also follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter for current happenings at Prestige and the latest information. Listen to our podcast, HR in 15, for information packed episodes in a bite sized package. Finally, remember to download our Prestige Go mobile app for access to your benefits information and support from your HR team members on the go. Thank you all, and we'll see you next time.